What's up, world? Let me tell you about this beard growth oil I got from 12 tribes on Earth. 8 ounces of oily goodness with a nozzle that prevents sprays and spills, and soft ingredients that make it perfect addition to anyone's morning routine. From coconut to castor, all these oils are hand chosen. After using this herbal blend, the biggest thing I noticed is how soft and how strong my hair was, and how good I feel. Pick up your bottle today and make your beard the star of the show.
All right, y'all. Shalom, family. Good to see you all. Hope you're doing well. I know by now many of you heard about the earthquake in Colombia. They said this is the worst earthquake since 100 years ago. Apparently, 100 years ago, they had a really bad quake there. And there are some that are saying the one that hit Colombia is actually worse than the one that hit Venezuela. But something is going on there in South America. I don't know. You guys might be under some serious judgment. That's for sure. All these earthquakes, and there are strong ones over 7 magnitude. And it just seems like it just keeps coming. And I also heard there was a volcano in that region that also just erupted. So they're going through it. They are going through it for real. And yes, it was a bad one. So, ladies and gentlemen, I was looking at a few articles, and I'm putting a live together for tomorrow saying that Iran just revealed that America don't have hardly any missiles left. And some of the articles were saying the U.S. military is just allowing the Iranian missiles to hit because they really don't have much to fight with anymore. So we'll really get into that tomorrow. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Thank you.
A powerful 7.4 magnitude earthquake struck the South American country of Colombia this morning, and today the death toll is climbing.
The quake struck the western region of the country, bringing down buildings and trapping people in the rubble. The newly installed president there has now declared a state of emergency. Eyewitness News reporter Rob Hayes joins us now with the latest on recovery efforts. Rob.
Yeah, the latest death toll tied to the earthquake has now surpassed 111. Colombia has declared a national disaster. Now, 7.4 is a very powerful quake, but experts say its depth may have lessened its blow. Scenes of terror as the earth started shaking and buildings started falling. A powerful 7.4 magnitude earthquake ripped across western Colombia, the epicenter about 250 miles away from the capital city of Bogota. The death toll consistently rising throughout the day as rescue teams scrambled to pick through the rubble of collapsed buildings. This man emotionally shaken, saying a falling tower nearly crushed him when the quake hit around 7:30 this morning. One family stuck dangling hundreds of feet in the air in a gondola. Below them, the destruction clearly visible.
We're all just kind of in shock in this city.
California native Sam Simpson felt the quake in Medellin, where she has lived for 3 years now. Colombia's Geological Service called this the country's most powerful earthquake in the last decade. something Simpson can attest to.
We live in a high-rise building near the top, and so we just felt this sway that was like, it literally felt like our building was going to crack in half.
The intensity of today's quake, somewhat buffered by its depth. Experts say it originated more than 60 miles underground.
There were 1.5 million people who received intensity 7 shaking.
Caltech seismologist Lucy Jones says even though Venezuela also had 2 huge earthquakes back in June, these quakes are not out of the ordinary. But it serves as a good reminder to Southern Californians to be prepared for the big one, which could be even more devastating than what we're seeing in Colombia today.
We are going to have an earthquake this size, and we're going to be closer to it because we don't have deep earthquakes here. We only have the shallow ones, given what our tectonics are. And when you're close to a 7.4, we're talking intensity 9 or 10 shaking.
Meantime, Southern California firefighters are already packing their bags. LA County's Urban Search and Rescue Task Force 2 has been ordered to head down to Colombia to help find survivors buried in debris.
¡Súbete, está temblando! ¡Sube, corre! ¡Corre, que está temblando! ¡Corre, salte, ven! Dios mío bendito. Dios mío, Dios mío. Dios mío. Padre Santo, Padre Santo. Padre Santo. Padre Santo. Micha, los niños. Los niños, Micha, los niños.
They believe a little girl is still inside this building. That's the sense of urgency that has got dozens of folks now on top of what was an apartment building, 4 stories high. On the ground floor, according to neighbors, was a drugstore and a restaurant. It obviously is now left in just total rubble, and they're trying to clear a lot of that. And this was a main street that went around this central square. That's totally covered. They've got a massive crane here and a lot of other resources that are coming in, and they've been fueling this by bringing tanks of gas to this location to keep it going over the past 24 plus hours so that this operation hasn't had to stop. But you can see there's a lot of focus now on one area in particular, and we've been watching this over the course of an hour or so, and it's gone from moments of total silence. Even the crowd around has been totally quiet and trying to allow them to listen for whatever sounds they might hear from beneath the rubble. We were told throughout the night they could hear some sounds, even yelling at times, according to one neighbor who was out here. That has stopped, and yet it hasn't slowed down. You go block after block after block, and you will see similar scenes of destruction and similar efforts of search and rescue, where they will go from one location to another with teams, canine units, to try to figure out what they can do in that moment to potentially save lives. When it comes to this building behind me, one neighbor told me that over the course of the past day, they were able to pull out 7 people altogether. 3 of them had passed away. The other 4 survived. And they're just hoping at this point that the little girl, who they believe is still inside there, along with another older woman, that they can get them out safely.
This is the moment people flee in terror as an earthquake hits Colombia. BBC Verify has pinpointed nearly a dozen videos from around the epicenter of the magnitude 7.4 earthquake, here roughly 240 kilometers from the capital Bogota. In the city of Manizales, a woman steadies herself as the ground trembles before a 5-story building collapses in front of her, and people are evacuated from a nearby university. On the other side of the city, the clock tower on the Catedral Basilica has tipped precariously. Further south, in Cali, people flee as parts of a local hospital collapse onto ambulances below. From on top of a hill on the edge of the city, you can see multiple plumes of dust as buildings crumble.
Dylan! 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 ¡Sube, que está temblando! ¡Sube, corre! ¡Corre, que está temblando! ¡Corre, salte, ven! Dios mío, bendito. Dios mío, Dios mío. Dios mío. Padre Santo, Padre Santo. Padre Santo. Padre Santo. Micho, los niños. Los niños, Micho, los niños.
Can you imagine what the aftershocks were like? I bet you they got hundreds of them. That was crazy. That was crazy. The last time I looked at the death toll is up to 120. That's going to go way up. It's going to go way up. This happened at a time when the children were in school and people were at work and out and about. Yeah, it's going to go way up. Just like Venezuela, when they had their earthquake. I think that was just a month ago. And now you got Colombia, and wow, what a mess. Yeah, I know they've been pretty powerful, these earthquakes. They have been really powerful lately. Yeah, yeah. So, y'all, this has been crazy. So, all I have to say is we'll see. You know, I had one of a brother who was living there, and he said that when he woke up, his maid was trying to tell him to leave his apartment building, and said she just stopped cooking and ran. And next thing you know, he said he was still in the apartment and he could feel the shaking, but he never made it out of the building. But lucky for him, his building did not collapse. So he's okay. But yeah, that is just too scary. Yeah, they also had a volcano eruption. And, you know, there are some videos out there that people were saying they spotted something in the sky, like a UFO, just before, they said like seconds before the earthquake hit. There are videos of people showing an object up in the sky. And some were calling it a portal. Some were saying they didn't know what it was, but you could see it. There was definitely something there. And then, and just instantly, the earthquake happened. Hmm. So I tell you what, it has been very interesting. And y'all know the Lionsgate portal is opened right now. It is opened right now. And, a lot of people were predicting things would happen. And tomorrow is the eclipse. I think it's seen in places like Greenland and Iceland. But, sometimes they'll tell you it can't be seen here and it can be seen here. They don't get it right. So that is supposed to start at 11:35 and it ends after 2 o'clock. But it's supposed to be a total eclipse. So with all of these different events going on, y'all, yeah, the judgment is real and we're seeing that judgment. We're seeing a lot of it. So I do want to make a quick announcement too before I go. I contacted UPS because a lot of people were not seeing their packages when you put in your tracking number. It kept saying that it was just created and it was already picked up, and I had to explain to them, you got to do something, update your system or something. I said it says that the label was created, and I said that package went out like 2-3 days ago. So they went in, I don't know what they did, but all of the tracking is now up to date. So if you couldn't see your tracking before, you should be able to see it now. So I think it was their system that just was not updating at all. But the last time I looked at a bunch of packages that were out. I can see the tracking for everything now. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank Lisa Gibson for the 10 jewels gold coin. Thank you so much. And Shantez Davis Sr., thank you for the 10 jewels gold coin. Thank you so much for your support for my channel. So, y'all, we're going to have to look out for each other in these final days because we sure can't count on this lame ass government here. So I'm just thinking, if a natural disaster hits America, you got to know you're on your own. Donald Trump has completely dismantled FEMA. Not that FEMA was doing anything. Trust me, they weren't. We had Hurricane Sandy in my state, and FEMA is not far from where I live. Y'all, they did absolutely nothing. They did absolutely nothing for us. So when people were sitting in the dark for 2-3 weeks until they got the power back, they didn't do anything. They were absolutely useless. So any disasters happening now, you're pretty much going to have to fend for yourself. That's what they did to them folks in Asheville. Y'all remember what happened in Asheville? Those folks had to pretty much get through it on their own. So if an earthquake like that strikes in America, man, it would be devastating on so many levels. So I will be doing my first live tomorrow, will be on how America is out of ammunition, stockpiles dangerously low. And a lot of people are saying that Iran has revealed how weak America really truly is. Why on earth would you go to war with a country and you knew your missile stockpiles were low? I think between Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth, there is no brain. There is no brain at all, for real. So we will get into that tomorrow morning. So y'all have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and be on the lookout for my videos, and don't forget to pick up your hair products. Shalom, family.